The number one killer of everything we've known in our life is, what is it? Tell me. Nope, it's not heart disease. Nope, it's not cancer. Nope, not heart attack. Nope, not at all. That's probably on the heart disease anyway, right? The number one killer to life is fear. Fear. Because fear is the false evidence of things appearing real, whatever they want to say. It's a nice little acronym for it. But fear is the number one killer because what happens is when we live in fear, we destroy our opportunities to actually live. And it's the essence of life, or electricity, oxygen, vitality flowing through us that gives us life. And when we stifle that, we then begin to get stiff joints. We begin to respond and live from trauma. We begin to fight, or shall I say, assume it's everything outside of us. And so we think things are coming against us. Or many of us grow numb and we just do what it takes to get by. But I want to challenge you because, number one, I like challenging you. Because when you're challenged, you do better. When I'm challenged, I do better. And without a challenge, I remain stagnant. And the truth is, I start depleting. Have you ever noticed one of the reasons why people that are older begin to slump, right, is because they're not on the weights. They're not using resistance challenge to help them expand and maintain posture. Well, we're no different when it comes to our spirit. If we don't have a challenge, something that's helping us strengthen and grow and expand, if we don't have that, then we're missing the opportunity and we begin to slump spiritually and begin to die away. I told you guys, I believe it was last week or the week before, that in my 30s, my early to mid 30s, I woke up one day and realized I was dying. But it wasn't because of the situation I was in. It wasn't because of people around me. It's because I stopped choosing to live. Let's rewind the tape. What was I doing before I started choosing to live, which meant making choices based on what I want, not based upon what I believe or the things around me or acceptance or all of those things. And I can tell you, it was fear. It was fear of not doing what other people wanted me to do. It was fear of thinking that this was the pathway, and if I didn't do it this way, or if I didn't have the groundwork firmly laid out, then it wasn't the right way to do things. Man, literally, that's how I lived my life. I didn't walk around afraid. No, don't misunderstand me. I was probably a lot like you. I was just doing what I do. I was going to the job. I was doing the routine thing, just trying to maintain. Yes, I wanted to advance, but I was hoping, praying someday I'd get information, reading books, and that did help me expand to begin to grow and maintain and have what I want. But I've learned something. I've learned something that's a lot more exciting. And that's that if I let go of fear and I start to risk again, risk meaning go after it, try it, step into it, let go, that I might grow. Even if I don't grow, I'll expand, which is growth. Even if I don't achieve the goal, I'll expand and I'll still be closer. You know the old phrase, reach for the stars? I have a phrase, reach for the stars, or go to the stars, reach for the stars, and at least they'll say you'll land on the moon or whatever it was. I don't even remember my exact phrase, but the idea was that if you shoot that high, that it gives you a platform, right? But if you only shoot to the top of a building, that's as high as you can go. Like the old flea in the jar thing, they left the fleas in the jar, and the fleas would before jump out, but when they put the lid on it, the fleas would jump and hit the top, and after a while they stopped hitting the top. And then when they had babies, the babies wouldn't even jump out of the jar at all. They had the capacity, but they were so used to jumping to the lid, and that was it. I'm saying take the lid off. Here's the quote that I love. It's my quote. The sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning. Literally, we've got to think broader than that. I mean, think about it. Our whole NASA program is looking at Mars and other planets. So can you. But many of us limit our lives to the jar like fleas. We hit that limit. We think that that's all that's there. And so in my personal life, here's my example of the week. I've always wanted to live around the country, around the world, and in the US, Southern California. And for years, I was like, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And my sister, one of my biggest fans, would always support me and say, you should do it. You should do it. You should do it. And I knew in my heart of hearts, I should do it, but I was living responsibly. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Responsibly. Well, until this is in place and that is in place and that is in place, then I can't do it. These things must be in place before I do that. Listen, ultimately, that philosophy makes a lot of sense. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have some things in place, but you live one time. And how many of you are still circulating or round and round about what's got to be in place before you actually start to do what's been in your spirit and in your soul? Since that time, I began to really launch out of the country, other countries, and began living what I've known I should have done 25, 30 years ago. And so I'm expecting this brand new expression because I finally took the lid off and I'm remembering all of a sudden, yeah, planes fly. You can be wherever you need to be when you need to be. And who I am as an individual is best expressed in other environments, expanding because I get to show up authentically and connect like I do in Chicago at the home base. But I flip bases and I began expanding, and that's going to continue to happen because I finally took the lid off. Today is about you, though. What are you still waiting for? That thing inside of you that you know you should be doing, but you're already in this routine. You've already got the lid on, and you're used to that lid, and maybe one day you'll jump out of the jar. Here's the thing. I was watching a video yesterday with Eddie Murphy, and it was really great. He was on set. And on this set, he just popped out of character. He broke the fourth wall. That's a phrase we use as actors, which means you start talking to the audience. And he said, 75 years. That's the average amount of life a person's gonna get, which means you only have 75 summers. And however old you are, minus 75 minus that is however many you have left. This is my year 50. Now I know how old I plan to be. I know how old I'd like to be. But if I stay on the average scale, I've got 25 summers, 25 springs left, and that's it. How many do you have? What are you gonna do at that time? This is why you've got to take the lid off, because you don't know when your time is coming. Why freaking wait? What are you waiting for? There are no promises, there are no guarantees. Listen, my father, this is one of the things that I learned early on. My father used to work for the auto industry. Faithful employee, loyal, midnight shift, get up and then do his entrepreneurship business. Back to work, gets laid off. Yeah, he got laid off, being a great worker. Back, took another one, gets laid off. I learned during that time watching his life, nothing is guaranteed other than death. So between now and death, the only variable that exists is your choice. What are you going to continue to choose? Will you continue to play it safe? Will you continue to leave the lid on? Or will you get after the life that's been inside of you so the fullest expression of who you are can show up? This has been the Monday Moment. Peace.